This is 2012 in Preview. Bee Publishing Company editors discuss the stories they predict they will be covering in the new year. Your host, Bill Clough.
Reviewing the top stories of the year has been a journalistic tradition for I don't know how many years. We're not doing that. Instead, we have asked the editors of the Bee Publishing Company, 4 newspapers covering 5 counties, to talk about what topics they believe will dominate their pages in the coming year. First, some introductions.
My name is Jason Collins, and I'm the editor of the BEEVILLE Bee-Picayune.
My name is Joe Baker. I'm the editor of the Karnes Countywide.
My name is Mike ALEXIEFF. I'm editor of the Progress in Three Rivers.
I am KENDA Nelson, editor of the Refugio County Press.
Because he's the editor of the flagship newspaper, I'd first like to ask Jason Collins about what he sees as the top story for 2012.
Probably our top story for this year is going to be the Eagle Ford Shale. We've seen a lot more people traveling on the roads. We've seen a lot more trucks and cars coming through the area, and that means more people. More people is a benefit to the businesses. Throughout the city and the county, we've had a lot of new construction in the area. We've got motels coming up. The prediction is we're going to have 2 of them open up next year, maybe a 3rd one in the following year. So there's a lot of opportunities for people that just weren't here a year ago.
And you also have that chocolate shop that just opened up. You think that's related to Eagle Ford?
Well, it might be. It's probably more for the guys working late just trying to make good with their wife when they have to work the extra overtime in the Eagle Ford Shale.
We bring in Joe Baker in Kennedy. Joe, how will this oil and gas boom affect your community?
Recently there was a conference in Kennedy and an expert on the topic said that it's estimated that by the year 2020 there will be close to $21.5 billion in total economic output for the area with 68,000 full-time jobs.
Joe, you're sitting in your office, and in that office you have a beautiful view of downtown Kennedy. I gather that you think it's going to change in the next year.
What we've seen is a huge increase in traffic, especially heavy truck traffic from the oil and gas industry. And there's just a lot more people in Karnes County than we're used to seeing. So the lines are longer at the restaurants, the lines are longer at the store, and that's what some local citizens are frustrated with, is that they have to wait a lot longer for things, that they have to develop a little bit more patience than they're used to having. Now I imagine you're seeing something similar to this in Three Rivers, right, Mike?
You're absolutely right, Joe. I mean, the growth in Live Oak County and McMullen County is tremendous. From retail to oilfield service companies to restaurants to apartment complexes, the community is just exploding.
Mike, with all this activity, how do residents feel about the loss of their quiet, peaceful, small-town life that they once enjoyed?
Well, Bill, I think that it's a trade-off in many people's mind. I mean, the economic activity has certainly been beneficial and will continue to be beneficial. On the other hand, traffic is a nightmare now. People aren't used to that. Especially retired folks are probably more upset by the development than anybody else, but most people are supportive of it.
Thank you both. At the other end of the coverage is Refugio, where editor KENDA Nelson can boast that the gas boom is predominant on the skyline.
You're talking about EOG's plant north of town. There are 10 silos out there that will hold fracking sand that will be used primarily at the Eagle Ford sites. The plant is expected to receive 1 to 3 100-car loads of sand every week. It'll be railed here from Wisconsin, where EOG owns its own mine. 70 to 90% of that sand is expected to be shipped to Eagle Ford sites. Estimates are as high as 200 18-wheelers per week will truck the sand.
Now, KENDA, this is Texas, and we have lots of beaches. Why is it necessary to ship sand from Wisconsin down here?
The sand in Wisconsin is round versus the sand that's found here on the coast of Texas. For fracking, it presents a much stronger force than the sand that they can extract from the beaches here in South Texas.
It's clear that the Eagle Ford oil boom in all its aspects is going to be something that all of you will be covering in the coming year. Life here is never going to be quite the same. In part 2 of this program, these same editors talk about other stories that they expect to see in their newspapers in the coming year. For BEEVILLE Publishing Company, I'm Bill Clough.